Hey everybody, you're watching Call the Corn Star. Good morning everybody, welcome to today's adventure on the farm. And also big thank you to Chomps for sponsoring this video. Now before we leave this morning, it is very important that we remember to pack our chomps. How would we say that in Spanish? Antes salimos necesitamos traer nuestro chomps. Did that sound dramatic? I'm not sure if that was right, but I think it sounded pretty good. We are primarily going to be working on two things today. The first thing that we are going to be working on is we are going to be sending out a semi-load of corn about every hour. Sometimes we're going to be pulling from that bin, and sometimes we're going to be pulling from this one. Our farm spent about $1.6 million to raise the grain that is sitting inside of our grain bins right now, and we have received exactly $0 back on that $1.6 million that we have spent, and we have bills that are coming due. So we ended up contracting 60,000 bushels of corn for this month to go out, so that way we can get a little bit of cash in the account and we can start paying some of our bills. So we are about 40,000 bushels into our 60,000 bushel contract. So if they have a really good day today, we should be at the 50,000 bushel point. And in between loads, we are going to be working on our second project, which is going to be building the bottom 8 feet of the underground movie theater foundation walls. We currently have this side all done on the bottom 8 feet, but we need to do that side. Here's our plan of attack for today. See how we have the horizontal pieces of rebar right beside me? Well, behind me in the bump out, we don't have that. So we need to get those horizontal pieces of rebar bent so that way they can fit the contours of the bump out. And then we also need to get some rebar stuck in over there on that last little bit of our short wall. Cooper and Zach are getting an awesome start on that, and then while they're working on that, Roman and Justin are installing the panels for the 6-foot wall. And then while they're working on that, I'm gonna make sure that the 6-foot panels that they're working on are all oiled up and ready. And then if anybody else needs anything, I guess I'm gonna be the runaround guy, the bring stuff down guy, just the jumper, the here, the there, hey, we need help. That's gonna be me. When we're setting up these panels, we use a lot of these wedge bolts. We actually have 9,000 of them, and they come in these little pails of 250, and I don't know what it is, but these little pails have the hardest to get off lid that I have ever witnessed in my life. You pull this little tab, and then it breaks about right here, and then you try to get the rest of it off. It just does not come. So I came up with a new solution. See? Made it look easy. Sometimes when you're doing a job that's not so fun and you're a little hungry, you just gotta come in and grab a Chomps. Okay, back to work. Hey Dad, it's lunchtime.
I know, Murphy's Law, it's always Murphy's Law. Just get set down. It can be 2 o'clock and we start eating. There's gonna be a trucker pulling in for me.
Don't worry, I got you. I left the sign lunchtime. So sit down.
Lunch is now over. Another truck pulled in. I think that's the 4th one for today. Dad just checked. We have 44,000 bushels in out of our 60,000. So this is 45. And then the one that just took off ahead of this one is actually 46. It is 13 degrees out right now, so we are going to need these gloves.
We're back from lunch, and I remember that Neva brought us hot chocolate, which I didn't know at the time what exactly it was from the package, but it appeared to be a homemade from scratch, which would be cocoa, milk, and whatever she put in there. That stuff is delicious and extremely hot. So now we got so spoiled that every time Neva is here, I'll be thinking, did she bring any hot chocolate? So thank you, Neva. Do you like it?
Yeah. Got third-degree burns in my esophagus.
That's your fault.
Yeah, I should not have taken that drink that fast.
The rebar bending is now done. I'm kind of cold now, so I'm gonna try Neva's hot chocolate. I don't know if I've ever had homemade hot chocolate before, to be completely honest. It's always been the stuff out of the little package. Oh, smells good. Smells homemade. Oh yeah, look at that. Woo! Here goes the first sip. That's hot. But very good. Oh, yeah. That's like eating a candy bar in liquid form. Wow. Hey, Roman, I'm not a professional form setter up guy, but that looks just a little out of plumb, maybe.
That's Justin's responsibility. He tells me whether it's good or not, so I just follow his expertise.
Is this true, young man?
That's not true. I'm following him.
But he's following you.
Just see it.
No.
Did you notice how we're just setting our next form after his?
Yeah, we're following his leadership.
Yeah, I'm setting the form and he tells me whether it's good or not. Because I cannot see it from here, and he is 2 feet further away, and he's supposed to tell me that. Is that better?
You just knocked everything off.
Way to go.
Now we're way off.
Hot chocolate break's over. I feel much better, much warmer. My feet are feeling really good too. My legs are cold now though, which is strange. But once we get working, we'll warm right back up. Now that we got all of our rebar and the bump out all bent, we are ready to start attacking some more of these forms and working our way down into the corner.
I've been just thinking that, but we have so much more work to do after.
No, Roman, don't even think about it.
After we put our scaffolding first, then we have to do rebar, then another set of forms, which now you're 8 feet above the ground.
And then once we get done with that, then we have to build another scaffolding. And then once we get done with that, then we have to fill everything with concrete. And then once we get done with that, we have to put anchor bolts in the top. Then once we get done with that, then we're gonna have to put a top plate on. Then once we get done with that, then we're gonna have to frame up everything. Then once we get done with that, then we're gonna have to build a roof. Then once we get done with that, then we're actually gonna have to shingle the roof. And then once we get done with that, we're gonna have to sheathe. Then we're gonna have to put in windows. And then we're gonna have to put in the HVAC system. And then we're gonna rough in the plumbing. We're gonna rough in the electrical. We have insulation. We have flooring. Yeah, we got a lot to do yet, Roman.
Should be done in a week, right?
number this is for today, but we're filling up another one. All right, Big Joe, what do you know?
I know my cab's dirty.
There we go. 1,300 bushels going out. Woo! It is cold out there. We're gonna warm up here in the shop for a minute, and while we're sitting here, I'm going to talk about my favorite snack, which is Chomps, and these just so happen to be the best beef sticks that I have ever had. These are Chomps beef sticks, which are all stick without the ick. Made of grass-fed beef, 10 grams of protein, 100 calories, 0 sugar, and they have no nitrates. See, if we look right there, no nitrates. The amount of times that I've had these for either breakfast, lunch, or supper is embarrassing. Not only are they super good, they're also super convenient. Just put them in your pocket, and when you're hungry throughout the day, you just pull one out. So good. My favorite ones are the jalapeno. I've been eating Chomps for about a year now, and they are hands down my favorite beef stick. If you would like to give them a try, check out the link down in the description. And while you're down there, write in the comments and let me know what your favorite Chomps flavor is. So check out the link in the description. We are at the time of the year where we don't have very long daylight, so unfortunately we did get darked out, but we just have the bump out left to do for the bottom 8 feet, and we have all the materials for it right on the other side, all brought down here. So in the morning, we're gonna get started building the bump out. Don't mind if I do, getting some more hot chocolate. Good afternoon. I had a really busy morning. We had a whole bunch of meetings that we had to go to. And then when I got back, to be completely honest, I was wiped. I was tired. So I laid down. I took a 20-minute nap. I also didn't really feel the best when I laid down. So got a quick 20-minute power nap in. So we are now hopping in the truck on the way over to the farm. It's actually almost 4 p.m. So we're gonna have about an hour of daylight left, but Justin, Roman, and Zach have been working all day, getting a lot of stuff done. So I really don't know how far they have gotten. We will see here momentarily. Looks like the snow has melted a little bit on the farm. It's kind of interesting in the yard. I don't understand the snow line right there. Why does it just stop in the middle, but then it picks up down by the road again? Middle, no snow, up there, snow. I don't know, that's weird. Holy cow, we got a bunch of stuff going on here. This is all scaffold bracketry in that pallet. That is more scaffold bracketry. These are Whaler brackets, which I will get to in a moment. We have our last 8-foot panel forms, which go right there, and then on the inside and the outside of the bump out. And then these are a whole bunch of skinny ones. I think we got some 6-inchers here. That looks like a 12-inch. I think these bottom ones are 22s. This is going to help make up the configuration for the bump outs. And then we got all these skinny pieces over here. So these are for our JBFs, our job built forms. So we have some panel spacings where we need to build like a 1/2-inch form. That is where these are going to come into play. Then we will sandwich plywood between them, 1/2-inch plywood. I think one actually calls for a 5/8 piece, one calls for a 3/16 piece, which I think we could just get away with probably a 1/2, because we have some discrepancy we can work with here on top of our board. We're not going to notice if we have to slide the form in 1/2 inch or out 1/2 inch. As long as the inside's straight, that's really what matters. And then I think that's pretty much it for the bump out. They tried to get started building the bump out. They built their first piece here, and then they were supposed to build a JBF, a job built form right here. And then they realized we did not have some smooth connecting bars. They were supposed to send 156 of them. We did not get them. Roman called. They actually just came here a little bit ago, but they ended up moving on to other things. So going inside of the underground movie theater now, we have this part left open so that way we can get stuff in and out, because once the wall's there, we can't walk through the wall. Justin and Roman must have taken apart all of the foot blocking that we had down at the bottom, so that's basically a bonfire pile now. Who knows what we'll use those for. These are our 6-foot panels, which they are just bringing them inside, so that way we can stack them on top of our 8-foot walls. And then Justin and Roman were doing a lot over here with these wooden boards. Now, these are the Whalers that I was talking about. The Whaler brackets go right here, and then they take these 2x4s and they turn them on their side like this, and then they run down the entire wall. And what we're gonna end up doing is taking a brace that goes down to the ground every 8 feet, and then it has a turnbuckle on it. And then we can adjust that turnbuckle to get our wall perfectly straight up and down every 8 feet. And then it'll snap a nice straight wall for us. So they have a middle Whaler here, they have a top Whaler, I believe we are going to have another set on the very top as well. And then they got some of the scaffold bracketry in. So we'll throw boards up on top of these. We'll be able to put a post straight up right here where my hand is. So then that way we'll be able to have a railing. And then we have to put these on the inside and outside now. So basically they took this wall, they got the practice out of the way. They learned how to do it while we were not here bothering them. And then they taught Cooper and Zach already, so Cooper and Zach are working here on the actual movie theater part, so they're getting this part done and this part done. And since I don't have a lot of daylight left, I'm going to bring as many of these scaffold brackets in as I can. We need to set them all the way around on everything on both sides of the wall. And then once we get those in place, we'll have to throw some boards up on top of them, screw them down, and then we'll be able to jump up another level. And then everything that we did down here on the bottom, we're gonna have to do on the top. I got all the scaffold brackets on for where we have whalers, so I can't do any more until we get some more whalers put on. But I now have a new problem. Right now, we have the giant hole in the side of the basement, and that lets a lot of cold air in. And it is currently, if we can see on the thermometer, is 20 degrees inside of the basement right now. We have one water line that comes into the house, and we have a heat tape that's wrapped around it, so that way it can't freeze. But looking at this cord, if we follow it all the way to the end, oh, look at that, it's sitting on the floor. It is not plugged in where it is supposed to be. So, if we turn this valve, if it's frozen, we're not gonna be able to move it. And guess what? She's frozen. If we look right between those letters, we can see that tan line. That is actually a crack, because it froze and it broke this. So, when it thaws out, like it's supposed to do tomorrow afternoon, it's going to spew water everywhere. So we have a new problem now. We need to, well, number one, we need to climb down in the manhole outside, shut the water off, and then we need to get this thawed out, and then we need to take these hose clamps off. We need to pull this whole assembly out, and then we need to put some sort of cap in here and then rewrap our heat tape around this, turn the water back on, because that water is also going over to our dryer shack, which is where we're using for a bathroom right now. So, we have a new problem. I was not anticipating on having to work on this. I don't know if we're gonna have the parts here that we need to fix our problem. We have two solutions. We can either plug it or we can put another valve back on. I did find one valve right here, but I think this is a 3/4. We need an inch, so this one's just a little bit too small. So if I can find one of these in an inch, this will work. Or if I can just find a plug piece that we can put in there and then we'll just band and clamp it down, and then it shouldn't leak. We shouldn't have any problems after that. We don't need water in the house right now, so at least we don't have to get anything flowing. We just need to stop the flow. I'm thinking my copper fitting supply over here is probably pretty small. We might have to make a trip down to the main heated shop, and if we don't have anything there, then I'm gonna be making a trip into town, which I don't really wanna do, but I also don't want a big watery mess in the basement. Change of plans. My dad came down and looked at our fitting that we think has a crack in it, but my dad knows best. And he's like, I don't know. It kind of just maybe looks like a scratch. So we're gonna try plan B here quick, which is to take the heat tape. We have it all coiled down at the bottom and I'm holding it tight with my hand. And we're gonna see if we can thaw this thing out and then turn the valve on. And if we can turn the valve on and it doesn't leak, then it's not actually a crack. Then we won't have to do anything. Then we'll be able to go home earlier and we won't have to make a trip into town. So, I am able to get the valve to move just a little bit now. I couldn't do this at all before, so no leaks yet. My dad might be right again. All right, Dad, it's been about 10 minutes. Do you want to give the valve a try? Oh, it turned. Hey. We might be in business, Dad. We should be good on the water line now. I'm glad we didn't need to go actually find a plug or go find a new valve, because that would have been a royal pain. We are supposed to get an ice storm tonight, so I'm just gonna sit down here in the shop office for a little bit, and we are still doing bin site lawsuit stuff. I have a couple days worth of work that I need to take care of on this. So I'm slowly trying to whittle away at it a little bit at a time. So we're gonna work on this for a little bit, let the ice storm pass, and then we're gonna go back to work in the underground movie theater. Okay, here we are, 2 days later. Let's see the damage. It rained a bit, so everything's all kind of soggy now. It warmed up like 10 degrees. It's 36 degrees out right now, so super foggy. We did get a fair amount of ice, probably like that much over about everything. We did not lose power, which is good. But now we have conditions that are a little sloppy. Working in the underground movie theater. Before hopping down in the mud and the sludge and the slipperiness, I decided I was gonna give the Iowa Department of Revenue a call because they levied some money from us a couple weeks ago and they did not give us any explanation why. They have not called me back. They did not answer their phone again this morning, so I think it's gonna be the point. I'm gonna be calling every day, and then if I don't get answers back, then it's gonna be twice a day, then it's gonna be 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day, whatever we gotta do to be able to get them to pick up their phone and call me back and give us an explanation. What's game plan, Roman?
Depending how messy it is in there.
Blades for that.
Go up, shoot for the sky. We're gonna keep building up, and if I can get to the difficult areas where it's muddy and everything else, finish that. Maybe I start working on the bump out while Zach and Cooper are gonna be building the scaffolding and everything.
Roman and I are gonna get started laying a conduit pipe inside of the foundation wall form so that way we can run our septic line through it. But before we do that, Zach and Cooper are gonna start cutting and bending some more rebar. And our rebar cutter went out of commission the other day because this brush, this little spring on it, decided it was gonna burn out. So I ended up getting a whole new package of some brushes, and hopefully one of these will work. We'll stick it right back in there. Then we'll take this little plug, put that right back in, and then this should work again. Smells like plastic. Okay, what size do we need? This is the one that wasn't here, right? Yes. Okay, just need the one that's the same size. That one is wider by a little bit. What about these ones? That one is narrower by a lot of bit. Are you kidding me? None of these are the right size. That one's too big. Yeah. This one's too small. Oh, what's better? Too big or too small? Or just right? I would like just right. I don't know if we can do this or not, but I'm going to try. The new one that I got is too big. This is the one that's broken, so when we lay it over, it's just a little bit too big, about that much too big. So I'm just gonna try to take a grinder and see if I can shave off that little bit of excess. Like I said, I don't know if I can do this or not, but I have like 5 others if this doesn't work, so it's worth a try. It's either no rebar cutter or a rebar cutter with a shaved brush. Moment of truth. Oh, it fits. It fits. Oh, look at that. We might be in business. Ugh. Is that smoke from it just wearing it in, or? There goes another load of corn. Got old Leroy Jenkins hauling today. Roman and I are now going to be working on the super fun, most awesome job that we have done on this entire project. We have our sewer line coming out of the house, so all the sewer stuff that gets collected over here comes right through here, and then it shoots straight over there. So where that white pipe comes out, and then it also shoots this way. It's gonna pick up some more bathrooms on this end, but that end over there is our discharge end, and it needs to shoot through our wall. So where we have the pipe right now, we basically need to continue that right through the wall. So we have that 1 foot 6 inch piece right there that is all cut out and ready to be mounted inside of the wall. So Roman and I are gonna try to dig out some mud in there, dig out some ice, dig out some water, and then we need to cut out a little rebar square so that way we can put our conduit pipe through. Then when we pour our concrete, then we'll actually have a little access hole for our septic line to be able to go through. Now this is going to be the most enjoyable job that we have done on this project so far. Right, Roman?
Yeah, playing with a soup. If I was a kid, I would have loved it.
Well, just put your little kid hat on today. You're getting dripped on, by the way, right now. You know that, right?
I can hear it. Thankfully, I don't feel it yet, but once it's soaked, I'll feel it too.
We don't really have an exact science on how we are doing this, but we just cut out these vertical pieces of rebar so that way we have this area clear of rebar, so then we can put our actual piece of conduit here. Now this is 4-inch, and we already have everything hooked up under the dirt, all at the correct slope and stuff. So now we're just trying to figure out where this is going to actually come and touch the form, because we need to mark the outside of the form, which Roman has already done right here with this screw. But then we have to get this mounted up on the inside somehow. So we have a block of wood inside of there because we're actually gonna screw into that block of wood. And then this is gonna sit something like this. Now this is a 6-inch pipe and we have a 4 going into it. So if we're off, we at least have 2 inches we can kind of work with here, but we need to get pretty close because once this is all concreted up, we don't really want to come in and have to break out concrete to get our pipe to fit. We would like it to just be nice and clean through this. Like I said, not a perfect science, but we got that all mounted in, shibbed the bottom end so this doesn't move now. And then if we just look at the top, it should fit right inside of the top of the 6-inch. And then the bottom should fit within the bottom. And then we need to check left to right. Looks like we're good, maybe just a little tight on that side, but I think it's pointed to the right side anyway, so that looks good. Good work, Roman.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna throw the forms back together, and then I don't know if we're gonna try to, are we gonna try to mess with the plywood against the house, or are we gonna wait till it dries up a little bit?
I don't think there's any drying, but what we're doing, not putting plywood, but pieces of lumber as close as we can to the wall, and the rest is just gonna let it be. We'll foam the gaps too when we're ready.
I just walked up from down below and we have ourselves a super watery, muddy mess right here. All of the water from the driveway is funneling right to this spot. It's puddling up here. It can't get around the dirt pile, and then it puddles here, and then it works its way down a wheel track, and then goes right down our ramp where all of our stuff is. It's just making it super muddy there. So I'm gonna try to come in with a shovel right now, see if I can do a little bit of digging right here on the edge of this pile, and then see if I can get the water to go that way. So that way all this puddle right here will flow on the other side of this pile, and then it won't go that way. And then what's in here, when it's turning around the corner right there, I'm just gonna go in there with a shovel and I'm gonna see if I can just divert it to go down the hill instead of down to our work area. We have some pretty good sunlight, so it's warm. I think it'll dry it pretty quick. We just need to get all that extra water off. I didn't feel like messing around digging too much, but pretty simple fix. Just literally dug that little channel right there for the water to flow through instead of it coming this way. So now this should start to all dry up for us. And I hope it does because it is sloppy.
If someone would tell you that this is gonna take us more than 3 hours, I would say they're crazy, but here we are. 3 hours later, still messing with it. The feet are soaked, even my coat is soaked, and we're still fighting to put strapping on the end here, because without the strapping the form is just gonna blow out. And I thank you, Devin, for catching that, because I sent him a picture this morning and he instantly gave me a call and said, make sure you put straps on the end. And I said, yep, you're right, I was ignorant of the fact that we need them there too. So in order for us to accommodate those straps in the end, we have to sacrifice these wedges, because the only way we can remove them afterwards is take the wheel grinder and cut them off. But in order for us to put the strap, you see how long this wedge is? We need to shorten it so it would slide all the way in, and then the other wedge would drop through and it would retain this strap in the right place. So we're back to compromising things and making them work.
Sacrificing wedges. I think that's kind of a strange way to put it, Roman. How about just chop the wedges in half? I like that better.
was the last time you washed your clothes?
What are you getting at here? Do I stink? Smell fine.
Just looks kind of off.
Don't worry about it, all right?
Looks good.
Welcome to my muddy little work corner. Let me give you a tour of my workspace. Starting off, when we walk in, right there we have Soup City. There actually is a board buried right here, but if you step just to the side of it a little bit, yep, it's called Soup City for a reason, because you literally step into soup. And then once you get up here, I'm actually standing on a piece of plywood right now. You can't see it. Oh, there you can see it. But then we have Wet Shoulder Corner. It's flat because, well, I've been pushing on it with my shoulder because that's the only way that I can get in here. But then once you get down here, you kind of have to get way in here, get your head against the wall. I keep hitting my head on that, so I'm sure my head's all dirty. But we've been trying to get these ties right here. And so we got them all on. The ones we had to cut were for right here, so that way they didn't hit the wall. But look at that, we got them all. So that's my work corner, and we're done in this one now, so we get to move to the other side, and hopefully the other side's not as sloppy as this side. All right, now that we got our foams all put into place and got the straps running across and everything, we need to jump in and go into the absolute swamp and then get it cleaned out, because if all that dirt gets pushed up against the foams and it freezes, then we're not gonna be able to get the foams out later. So we need to go in, clear out the swamp, and then we need to figure out how to put some wood at the back. And then once we got that done, then we're gonna be done with this side and we're gonna get a jump to the other side. After spending a majority of the day in the mud and the muck, Roman and I got all of our little brace pieces done in there. We got our conduit through for the septic line over on this wall. We got our whalers on the back side of this side. Whalers were already on that side. We got that side all formed up on the end, got our straps on the end. So we are now done in the little muddy cubbyhole spot. So Roman and I are gonna go look in the shed now, and we're gonna see what we have for boards that will go on top of these scaffolding mounts. So that way we can actually get some scaffolding up there. Then we start building up there. And once we get that done, we'll be ready to start setting some forms up on the top. And wood pile number one, we got a few 2x6s. I think there's like 6 of them here. Those will be a good little start. We got a couple 2x10s. Looks like we got a couple that are too short. These 6x6s are not going to do us any good though, unfortunately. Got another load of corn ready to go out. Oh man, pile number 2 is hiding back behind the tractor, so it's a little bit dark, but it looks like there's a fair amount of wood on this. We ended up finding way more wood in the big machine shed than I expected, so we should have enough wood to be able to build our scaffolding, or at least I think we will. Who knows, we have a big pile of wood. If we need to tap from that, I guess we can. But it is now dark out, so there's not a whole lot we can do, so we're gonna call it a night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.